In this video, I'm going to answer the question, has the resurrection already happened? No, it has not. But here's where the question comes from. We had read Matthew 27 earlier this week, and in Matthew 27, verse 51, it says, at that moment, so this is the moment that Jesus gave up his spirit, the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. The earth shook, the rocks split, and the tombs were broke open. The bodies of many holy people who had died were raised to life. They came out of the tombs after Jesus' resurrection and went into the holy city and appeared to many people. This is not the resurrection. But I can understand why some people are looking at that and thinking, oh my goodness, was this the resurrection? No. In 1 Thessalonians 2, people had been spreading destructive heresies that the resurrection had already taken place and that they had been left behind. So in verse 2, Paul addressed it. Concerning the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and our being gathered to him, we ask you, brothers and sisters, not to become easily unsettled or alarmed by the teaching allegedly from us, whether a prophecy or by word of mouth or by letter, asserting that the day of the Lord has already come. Now, the day of the Lord is when the Lord comes, okay? Don't let anyone deceive you in any way, for that day will not come until the rebellion occurs and the man of lawlessness is revealed, the man doomed to destruction. He will oppose and will exalt himself over everything that is called God or is worshipped, so that he sets himself up in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be God. Paul here is referring to the Antichrist. He's using the same words that Daniel used in Daniel 7 and in Daniel 11. He exalts himself. He claims to be God. He opposes all other gods. He sets himself up in God's temple, which we know is us. So he's setting himself up in God's church, and he's proclaiming himself to be God. Now I'm going to go over our next clue of when Jesus will come. So when you see this is Matthew 24:15. So when you see standing in the holy place the abomination that causes desolation, spoken of through the prophet Daniel, let the reader understand, then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let no one on the housetop go down to take anything out of the house. Let no one in the field go back to get their cloak. How dreadful it will be in those days for pregnant women and nursing mothers. Pray that your flight will not take place in winter or on Sabbath, for then there will be great distress unequaled from the beginning of the world until now, and never to be equaled again. If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive, but for the sake of the elect, so that means the elect are still here, when the abomination of desolation is set up, those days will be shortened. For the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened. At that time, if anyone says to you, look, here's the Messiah, or there he is, do not believe it. For false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. When is this happening? You need to know. When is this happening? When the abomination of desolation is set up, that's the time that people are going to say, here's the Messiah, there's the Messiah. You need to understand that this is what's going to happen at that time. A last and final test to God's people. Do you understand? A last and final test to you is going to happen, where people are going to say, Jesus is here. The Messiah is over there. But Christ says this. He says, so if anyone tells you there he is out in the wilderness, do not go out. Here he is in the inner rooms. Do not believe it. For as lightning that comes from the east is visible even in the west, you're going to see it. You're going to see it. You understand what he's saying? So will be the coming of the Son of Man. Wherever there is a carcass, there the vultures will gather. You are going to see it. It's not going to be something that you need to go run to. You are going to see him, even those who pierced him. Everyone will see Jesus when he comes again. So don't let anyone deceive you. Don't let anyone tell you that this has already happened. Will not happen until after the Antichrist reign. At the very end of the Antichrist reign is when the abomination of desolation is set up. And then there's a series of days that are spoken of in Daniel from the 1290th day when the abomination of desolation is set up. Blessed is the one who reaches 1335 days. So there's at least 45 days in there in which these things are happening, in which these things, people saying, here's the Messiah's over here, come, let's go see him. I hope that you remember the words that I'm saying right now. I hope that you hold on to this and remember, because this will be the last test before Christ comes. Don't be deceived. And then somewhere in those days, the mystery of God will be accomplished. The mystery of God is the first resurrection. Somewhere in those days, about the time that the seventh trumpet is about to blow, that's when the mystery of God is going to be accomplished, okay? No worries about the first resurrection. You didn't miss anything, but you need to be aware of this last test. Thank you for listening. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.